Have you heard of attachment parenting? It's an approach to raising kids that comes with its share of supporters and critics.
Mary McKenzie explains it and asks experts whether it strengthens or strains families.
You already have some?
Shireen Colley didn't start out parenting her 3 children as an attachment parent.
I didn't know anything about parenting philosophies.
And doesn't love the label, but she is happy with what it's done for her family.
If that's what's doing it, I like the results.
Attachment parenting involves practices like co-sleeping with your children and wearing infants and carriers close to the body as much as possible.
Would you like to put some toys on there too?
Mom of 2, Paige Baraka, also practices AP principles, including delaying solid foods in favor of extended breastfeeding, including Fenris, who's about to turn 3.
None of my children have had baby food. I never made it a point to really make sure they were getting a meal until they were at least a year old.
The philosophy isn't new. It's been around since the 1970s when Dr. William Sears came up with his 8 principles of attachment parenting. Now there are several popular websites which outline the specific practices.
Because things are so different now than they were when our parents were parenting us, people aren't really sure where to turn.
Pediatrician Dr. Zineb Beam says parents now often turn to social media for support.
And that's become their village.
But the anonymity online allows people to take license and to stir up controversy over others' parenting choices.
There's the opportunity for everyone to be an expert, and everyone isn't an expert.
I've seen it. I try to stay away from it. I've gotten to the point where I don't post anything on Facebook that would be even construed as controversial.
And what about the science? Does it bear out any of the purported benefits of attachment parenting? Like smarter, more empathetic, and independent children. Beam says that's a tricky answer.
Identifying a direct cause and effect between a behavior and an outcome is really challenging because you've got so many variables. Our kids are older and they're lovely. Might they have been lovely if I had also bottle fed them? Probably, so it's really hard to say if those things change the outcome excessively.
And the cons largely pertain to convenience and to the burden, often placed disproportionately on mothers.
Some will say that attachment parenting is really hard on women because it requires that a woman potentially give up their career, make career sacrifices, or make personal sacrifices to be an attachment parent.
But for moms like Paige, who works as a nurse, and Shireen, who runs a daycare, they're not sacrifices.
One day I'm going to have to look at these kids and they're going to be adults and I'm going to have to say I did the best I can and, I didn't break you. You're all right.
That was Mary McKenzie reporting. Now, she found working moms and dads often have the hardest time with co-parenting.
Holly Henson, a children's book author from Danville, says she was a believer in co-parenting when she had a son 15 years ago, but the lack of sleep made her sick and resentful. She abandoned the practice when twins came along 4 years later, but says she knows mothers who had a great experience with attachment parenting.
Yeah, bottom line, all situations are different. You have to find parenting techniques that work best for you, as we both know.
Yeah, just live and learn.
Yes.